There are worries we're seeing the ingredients for a recession as the soaring cost of food and drink has pushed inflation into double digits.
The rail strikes have brought huge parts of Britain to a standstill recently, but this could be just the beginning.
I think there are going to be many unions balloting across the country because people can't take it anymore.
Britain's biggest trade unions are mobilising, arguing that pay and conditions for millions of workers are lagging behind the soaring cost of living.
Come on, shape up!
This is only the fourth time in 70 years that inflation has breached 10%. The government has been accused of being missing in action, its party preoccupied with the leadership election.
Hairy-handed gent who ran amok in Kent. Lately he's been overheard in Mayfair. You better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor.
In the late 1970s, inflation was soaring, just as it is today. Britain was on the cusp of a pivotal event that would see the government and the powerful trade unions going head-to-head.
You get the impression that lots of the measures that the government is introducing are kind of one-off. So it's just to help people get through the next year, because that's frankly the cheapest way of dealing with
furlough,
this.
like reduction in VAT.
Exactly. There's a desperation not to kind of make these permanent things. But here's the thing, you know, a lot of these increases in energy bills could last a lot longer than the next year. So if you're talking about a permanent adjustment in how much people are paying, which we may be seeing because, you know, we no longer have cheap Russian gas anymore, then this may not necessarily be enough, and it's only the latest in a whole series of measures we have to get from the government. But let's see, we'll see what they introduce and see how it's structured.
It's quite a gloomy thought, but so you're essentially saying that this big rise that we are expecting in the autumn could potentially not be the last, or could be the sort of figure that we end up paying for quite a long time?
Well, no one really knows. If you look at futures curves, so, you know, basically this is all measured on the basis of what these energy companies are paying, not just this month, but in the next 6 months and further ahead. You've got kind of futures markets where they can buy these energy costs, the wholesale energy. And if you look at them, it goes up very high. That's kind of where we are at the moment, and then starts to kind of come down a bit. But even by the end of that futures curve, so looking out the next year after that, you're still talking about levels that are kind of pretty much double what we're used to. You know, that first chart I showed you, the level, we just don't seem to be in that world anymore. And if we're not, what we're going to hear about from the Chancellor, is that going to be enough? It doesn't look like it, but let's see.
See, indeed. Ed, thanks very much.